What a steal in the third round. Who the is going to know?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, unless you follow it. I was very fortunate to call junior hockey and do some college hockey broadcasts in the past, so I got a chance to know a lot of these guys. But even then, there's, okay, this kid comes from the Swiss Junior Elite League. Okay. Did he play for the Swiss in the World Juniors? No. Okay, cool. It's a myth to me.
To me, the Fringe fan, they're all Darko Milicic.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they are. Hey, he played at Hemo Farm when he was 15 years old. He was playing with men. Cool. What's that mean to my franchise?
Right.
Are they going to win next year? Does it get any better for the Red Wings? Did it get any better for the Red Wings?
Yes, in the regards that they got a better goalie. They legitimately, and we were having this conversation over the weekend. John Gibson is a better goalie than Peter Mrazek, period.
Yes.
Okay? Is John Gibson the answer for the next couple of years? No. No.
In the league, where does he rank? 1 to 32 starting goalies.
Down near the bottom. No question about it.
So we went from like 32 to 28.
I think, you know what it comes down to? All right, so if he can stay healthy, that's one thing. He's unfortunately been Mr. Glass for a while. He really has been. If he can stay healthy, he's been a pretty good goalie. Steve Yzerman historically has kind of taken that veteran goaltender that a lot of people kind of were counting out and had success with him. Dwayne Rollison down in Tampa. I mean, he literally took a rag and went like this and wrung out every last magical drop in him, and they took an incredible run. Is Gibson that guy? I think that's what they're hoping for. But if you're a skeptic, I would be very skeptical about that.
Trying to catch lightning in a bottle. Like, obviously, earlier in his career in Anaheim, he was lights out. He was a Vezina contender for multiple years. He's made multiple All-Star games. So he's got the talent, but like Sean said, he's been injured. 2 years ago, he had a very bad season, but that was partially because of the injury. He comes back last year, and in limited time, he looked really good. So if they can get a healthy John Gibson, that is a very, very big upgrade from the goaltender, because I told them there were two things. I've said on Woodward Wings, it comes out 10 o'clock on Saturday. Shout out. Make sure you go watch them.
Shout out.
The two things you can't go into this season with, if you want to be an actual playoff team, like you want to be a legitimate playoff team, you can't go in with Talbot and Mrazek as your goaltending duo, and you can't go in with Tarasenko and Justin Hall on your roster. So they made one of those moves to get John Gibson, who is an upgrade for sure. We'll see if they make the other move. But I was happy with the trade. And Steve Yzerman won 2 trades in a matter of 24 hours, because Seattle, who you got, obviously you moved Veleno to get Mrazek. Seattle's buying out Veleno. He's a nothing burger. And then you get basically John Gibson for Joe Veleno, because you traded Mrazek and then a second round next year and a 4th round pick in 2 years that you don't care about.
This is what nobody wants to hear, though, and I'm sorry, at least I've been consistent with this, Spenny, and I think you agree with me here. His moves compared to what the rest of the division are doing are two entirely different things.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I've said it for 2 years. This is the best division in hockey. And it's a really weird division because you have teams that are not going. The Florida Panthers aren't going anywhere, folks. They aren't. Tampa, not going anywhere. Toronto, not going anywhere, especially come playoff time. All right? They're going to have their cute little regular season, and then they're going to go Maple Leaf come playoff time. And then you have Boston, who's kind of, as we use the term in the fall, beginning their initial descent, right? They're starting their initial descent, and you saw that last year, and they traded Marchand. The issue right now in this division is you have the Ottawa Senators, and in particular the Habs, that are simply put doing a better job of a rebuild than the Red Wings.
Absolutely.
That's the issue right now in this division.
We were
But we have Steve Yzerman.
we were talking about
How's
it
that possible, Sean?
on the draft show, that all these teams zooming by the Red Wings on the proverbial highway, and right now you're about neck and neck with Philadelphia, and Philadelphia is getting ready to pass you if they make another big move. Getting Zegras, I think, is a move that puts them right about neck and neck with you. But like you said, Ottawa, Montreal, those are the teams passing the Red Wings on the highway. You've got New York, who they're not going to stay bad for long. you know, they're going to be pretty good here. And then, like you said, Boston never really rebuilds. I would be surprised if they moved off of pasta and just went into a full rebuild. But we'll see. The Red Wings still have a lot of moves that need to be addressed. They have a lot of time to do it because free agency hasn't started yet. But
and don't forget, your schedule is loaded with these teams from the Atlantic Division, too. You have to play them more.
You have to play them more.
You know, I don't want to see a few of those teams 3-4 times a year. You know what? Thank you anyway.
Right now, I would say you're kind of on pace with Philadelphia and with Columbus. And Montreal and Ottawa have passed you up. And New York is right behind you, like they're red, and Boston is kind of puttering in the back, but they could easily jump forward because they got a 50-goal guy on their team.
So what I'm hearing is we're not gonna make the playoffs again this year.
Probably not, unless they make some big moves.
So then you're 8 or you're 9 in the Yzer plan's gonna make the playoffs. Maybe you're 9.
1920, the clock started, and it's interesting because I remember yelling back and forth with Flannel Sam about this. You don't even start the debate of how well this is going until 5 years in. And that's not my quote. I'm telling you right now.
We're 7 years in, aren't we?
I had 2 NHL general managers, not named Steve Yzerman, tell me that the average fan doesn't understand it. It legitimately, there's a reason why it's called the 5-year plan, okay? So 5 years in, you start having those conversations. So if you're following along at home, 1920, 2021, 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, 24. 24, last fall, the clock started. And
it was a failure.
And you have that. You can't call it anything else right now. You can't.
No,
it's crazy because like you can see the Tigers and the Red Wings were like kind of trending the same way 2 years ago. They ended the season hot. You were hoping it carried over into the next season, you know, to get that playoff experience. The Tigers have taken that ball and run with it. Red Wings just regressed. Like they were almost the exact same team this year as they were last year, because I was hearing the exact same shit that I was hearing the year before this year.
Yeah. I think that's a great point, because you think back to the tail end of the Avila era, right? I was so sick and tired of hearing these mythical names, okay? And a lot of them didn't hit. But then some of them started to hit, right? You heard about Skubal, and you're like, all right, I'm intrigued. For every Skubal, unfortunately, there was a Matt Manning. And then Casey Mize, he was, going back and forth. But some of these guys started to hit. And that's the crazy thing about this dynamic right now. I don't care who, they have nice pieces. Unfortunately, there's nobody who's gone Skubal. Unfortunately, there's nobody who's really gone Riley Green yet.
No.
Nice seasons, good seasons, but the question is there a next level for a Lucas Raymond? Is there a next level for a Mo Sider? When will you see ASP? When will you see some of these other pieces? And if you continue to have good players in this division, you're going to get run.
And
I firmly believe it.
Yeah, you've got a team right now full of second and third line guys, and you don't have any truly upper echelon talent. And the reason the Red Wings are where they were this year was because their stars plateaued and their veterans were ass. So you need to, and this can, again, completely be flipped around next year. If you have guys like Marco Kasper, who I believe is going to take a step forward next year, if Lucas Raymond can put together a full season and be a star, it would be great. We've seen Lucas Raymond do now two half seasons of being a star in the NHL. If he could put it together for one full season, that will be huge. But things like that are supplemented by veterans you bring in, bringing the best out of those guys. You need to get a legitimate top 4 defensive pairing, and you need to get a legitimate top 6 winger if you want this team to be good next year in free agency. You bring in a guy like Patrick Kane, and it's awesome, and showtime, and he wins. Those playoff or those shootout snipes are awesome. But he brings down guys when he's in the top 6. Patrick Kane should not be a top 6 on a playoff team. If you want to, you have to get a guy like that. You have to get a legitimate guy that will bring Lucas Raymond up a notch, that will help Marco Kasper bring to that next level, because if you keep bringing in guys like Tarasenko and Patrick Kane, they're not going to show any signs of development, because those guys are absolutely cooked.
Well, you know what they need? They need to get into